Okay, good morning. Happy New Year, guys. Welcome to my channel. Soy Garcia 815, and today I'm sitting here with a good friend of mine. He is a mentor to me, a father figure. He's been my superintendent, and he's helped me in many ways, and I thank the Lord for that. And I want to talk about this in a minute. I want to say, welcome to my channel, Mr. Mackey.
Nice to be here.
Thank you. And the reason why I'm doing this recording right now, Mr. Mack, is because we've known each other since what? When did we build the stadium, the FedEx Field? What year was that?
Yeah, but before that, we was a
No, I know, but I just want to catch the number.
FedEx Field when we did Redskins Stadium was 1997.
1997. So I want to go back about 5 more years, I think, when I met you at Miller and Long.
No, it was before that.
Before that, right?
Yeah, before that.
So
it was in the late 80s.
Yeah, so when I met Mackie for the first time, and I was a carpenter for Miller and Long, we worked for Gus Arnold. And I remember I used to watch you, Mackie, and I was doing my thing, you were doing your thing, you had your friends, I had my friends. But I used to run into you in the metro. Mm-hmm. You would go home and I would go home. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm doing this recording right now, Mac, is because I look back at my life and I noticed that, and I'm gonna say something because this is personal, and I love doing this for my audience, and I want people to know where I've been and where I am now. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to get ahead of myself, and this is why I love the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis, Mackie, because the way God works things, the way right. He's got it all planned.
He had it all planned from the beginning.
Right. And so in my life, Mackie, the Lord's been after me since I can't remember, Mackie. And I try back at things, and I remember, Mackie, and this is something personal, and I'm going to say it. When I used to live with guys in the apartment, always the Jehovah's Witness would come in the house, and, and I would let them in, and, I just let them talk. And if not, I would catch, people from the church, always preaching at me. Mm-hmm. But the thing that caught my attention, Mike, is that when I used to use drugs, and I'm going to use the word high, when I was high, and I was sitting next to a friend of mine, I would preach to them. I would tell them about Jesus. And I'm like, oh my God, And now that I look back, I'm like, wow, the Lord's been after me. And then here you come, Mackie, and this is where I'm going to get with you, is that how the Lord has been always taking care of me in my life, because I've always been avoiding, like Jonah, taking a ticket to another place, trying to stay away from Jesus, trying to do things my way. And so what I want to say, Mackie, is that when I met you, I see you, and we're working. But then we got to the stadium, and then you invited me to your house for the first time. My kids were young. And, we started talking to each other. But then we met, I forgot, you got transfer or whatever. And then I didn't see you for a while. But then I saw you again, but this time I was a field engineer. And we were working for the company called Brothers Concrete. I remember that. And that is the first time when you, Mackie, because at the stadium you never talked to me about Jesus. You can explain to to the audience how you got to that point. But I remember, and I think it's funny because when we were standing looking at the job and we were trying to manage, and then this is what I want done, this is what, you would always take your pen, Mackie, and you would make little sketches on the 2x4s, and you would say, listen, this is what the Bible says about Jesus, and this and that and this, and then you would draw the ark. And then you would draw the cross, and then you would draw the shaft of the shepherd with the snake, and then you explain how they all tied together.
What's that man talking about?
And I was like, no, I never say that. I was just like, what? I mean, what is all this about?
Yeah.
Because I was raised in a Catholic church, Mikey. And I don't take nothing away from them.
Yeah.
But when I used to go to church with my uncle and my mom, in Arlington, you go to church and then you go home and celebrate, whatever. But you never hear this stuff, I never heard. And then you came up to me one day and you say, hey, I want you to listen to it. And by the way, I have a few of his tapes right here because back then we had cassettes.
Yeah, cassette tapes. I know that the people right now listen to your channel don't know what a cassette tape
No,
is.
they don't know what cassettes are, but the message, the amazing thing is that the message still there.
Yeah, still there, yeah.
This is cassettes right here. I'm gonna open it up. This is the cassette that where I used to listen to, and this is all Maggie's work. And I'm gonna get to this in a minute, but I remember you came up to me one day, and we were in Bethesda, Maryland, I think, right?
Where? Bethesda?
Bethesda. And you handed me this tape and said, hey, look at it. And I went home and I put the first tape in there and I started reading it because it would take me about an hour and a half to get home.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'll listen to it. And let me just say one thing. When I listened to those tapes for the first time, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I never heard this stuff, I mean, I never had a Bible, I never knew what the Bible was. I just know, like, okay, we're celebrating Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or Easter.
Or Easter,
Yeah.
So, what I want to say, Mackie, is that when I listen to these tapes, I say to myself, you know what, this is amazing. I got to put this in Spanish. And that's how I got started, Mackie. And I realized then, and now that I'm sitting here next to you, 2024.
Wow, that's a long time.
That's a long time. And I look at all this, Mikey, and I say, wow, I've known so many friends, and I drink with so many people, and I've done this with so many people. And now I count my friends, and I know I have good friends, and you guys listen to my tape. I'm not counting you out, but the Lord has done in my life. He's got everything prepared for me, and it's led me to this point where I met Mackie, and you've been inspiration to me, Mackie, in my life. I know I made some changes in my life, and I just want to say thank you, because I am where I am now, Mackie, and I'm sure what the decisions that I make in my life now. So what I want the viewers to know is that how did you? Because when I used to see you, Mackie, you used to live in Manassas, right?
I bought my first house in Manassas.
How did you? Because you've done, Mackie. Let me just say this: Mackie's done a great job. Back then, and I call this the Bethlehem Chronicles, Mackie. This is what I call your tapes, and I just brought four of them. One of them is Benjamin, the Final Generation. I'm gonna put it right here, and then there's another one. The old world in the times of refreshing.
That's creation.
Creation. It's got to do with creation. And you can give me a little, explain to us what it's about, because I want to put all this on my channel.
Yeah.
The other one's Let Him Kiss Me, which
Song of Solomon.
Song of Solomon. And then, of course, For Unto Us a Child is Born.
So let me say something before you go. No, not about that, but
right, go ahead.
But all of those tapes, they're on different subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And we got books out. I got, I don't know, 20-some books out there. We only reproduce maybe half of that now.
Right.
But anyway, all of those new books
mm-hmm.
that we're doing, because obviously we don't do cassettes anymore.
Right.
They're on different subjects, but they're all about Christ. Every single one is about Christ, because the Bible says that the gospel of Christ is the only way that men can get saved.
Yeah.
So that's why you mentioned in the beginning of one of our messages is mm-hmm. that our theme is revealing Jesus in all the scriptures. Right. So no matter what the topic is, ultimately it's about Jesus, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and having a relationship with Him.
Yeah. So what I want to ask you, and I want the viewers to understand where I come from, is my kid, because I told you from the beginning, God He's always been chasing me. But my question is, Mikey, how did you get with Jesus? How did you start it? What? Because I know you used to box.
Oh yeah, I box.
How did the Lord took a grab of it? How did the Lord grab you, Mikey?
So at the time I got saved, I was boxed and coached for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And in most people's lives, they go through some type of issue where things aren't going the way that they were planned. Okay. You say, this didn't work, and this, before you're saved. Right. This didn't work, and this is not going right, and this is a disaster, and wow, I never thought I'd be here. And so I'm driving.
You sound almost like the woman with the issue of blood.
Yeah,
She
well,
tried everything and it was always empty.
And it didn't get better, it got worse.
It got worse,
And so
right.
we're all like the woman with the issue of blood.
Right.
And by the way, her decision was, I got to go to Jesus. So that was my decision too. So one morning I'm driving to work, we're working in concrete, and I was boxing at the time. It's interesting you brought up boxing.
Right, right.
And I said, man, and a pastor had been talking to me from a local church.
Right.
You got to come to church. You got to come to church to get saved. And so, I was 33 years old at the time, which is an interesting age, by the way. And so I'm driving to work one day, and through a lot of things that weren't going right. And I said, you know what? I got to surrender. I got to give my life to Christ.
Right.
And the thing that popped in my head, because I was boxing at the time, I said, God is undefeated. Because I'm thinking in boxing terms.
Right.
I said, God is undefeated. How am I going to beat that man? I can't beat him. I can't win. He's undefeated. And I'm going to lose. And that day, that morning, driving to work in my pickup truck, I gave my life to Jesus Christ on that day. But let me go further. So that was, I believe it was a Monday or Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it was a Monday. Because that was 30 some years ago. So I gave my life to Jesus Christ. That was a Monday. And then on that Sunday, listen to this.
Yeah.
That Sunday is when I went forward as a public testimony of what I did on Monday.
Okay.
I was 33 years old. It was my birthday, my physical birthday. It was Resurrection Sunday because my birthday falls on Easter.
Right.
I was boxing at the time. The message from the pastor was fight the good fight. And that day I went forward, 33 years old, my birthday, my physical birthday, my spiritual birthday, in my boxing jacket.
Right.
Pastor said fight the good fight, and I went forward.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You know, it brings me back to the story, Mackie, that one of your stories that you have on Through the Looking Glass, where Jacob have defeated just about everyone that got in his way, until he got to that point where he had to fight with the angel of the Lord.
Right. He had to wrestle with the Lord.
Wrestle with the Lord. And that's the chance. So, the other thing in Mackie that is amazing to me, I think, is every time I come over here to your office, Mackie, I see the work that you've done, not only through the tapes, but I know that, like myself, and like I say, when you first gave me these tapes, I said, I'm going to have to put it in Spanish. But then, not because of the name, Mackie, then you gave me Benjamin, the Final Generation. And that's the one that really, I was like, wow.
Most people don't have any idea about the story.
Have no idea about who Benjamin is.
Who Benjamin is, yeah.
The point that I want to make, Mackie, is that, and I want to ask you, is that this has become to me my focus.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus is my focus.
Yeah.
But through this story here is where I have all my how can I put it? I put all my time in.
Yeah.
You know, because I think it's a beautiful story. Like you told me before, is the whole plan is there from the creation to the end.
Right.
Right. It's all there. You just got to look at it.
Yeah.
And you have yours, which is Noah's Ark, and you have a great book which I don't have with me right now.
Over there. Right there.
Let me grab
it
here.
On the right hand side.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
And since you've been saved, and I know that you have great work, you put a lot of time.
I wrote that book 3 times over a period of 2 years. I wrote that thing 3 times. I wasn't satisfied with the first one. I wasn't satisfied with the second. I wrote that, and actually I wanted to do another one. I said that's enough. But I wrote that book 3 times.
This book is called Gopherwood, and so like myself, I'm with Joseph.
Yeah.
You're with Noah, and you got a lot of things to say about Noah. And we're gonna finish the story of Noah.
Okay.
Because I know that's your focus, and I know you've done a lot of work, and you know so. The thing that I want, because you went from tapes to books.
Yeah, I had to.
I want to know is the viewers I want the news to know is what made you go from tapes? I know that things are changing. What made you go from tapes to the writing, and why did you choose Noah? What got your attention on Noah?
So, So what happened in the beginning of our ministry, which is over 30 years old now.
Right.
Bethlehem Production is over 30 years old.
Right.
And we started writing books in the beginning. We started writing small books in the beginning. In fact, we still have some of them. The Shroud of Turin, the 10 Plagues of Egypt, the Looking Glass.
The Looking Glass,
yeah,
right.
all those books are still available. We still keep copies of. But anyway, so we started doing books, and then when the technology changed and cassettes came out, I went, "Wow, this is great! You can listen to the tapes going to work,
While you're driving,
and you can listen to it at home." And so I moved from books to cassette tapes, and of course I was too naive at the time to realize that the technology was changing every day, basically.
Right.
So I put a lot of time and effort and money into building a cassette ministry, right?
Because I remember you had a little tape recorder too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. They don't make those anymore.
No, that's gone. And by the way, when you got our tape series, we would give you a little small tape recorder so you could listen to it at work.
Exactly.
But anyway, so when the technology changed, I said, "Oh, now I got to go to this new technology."
Right.
And then I realized that the technology was always changing. So I said, "Forget it." And I went back to books, and we've been back to books ever since.
Right.
I'm not worried about the technology. If someone wants to read a book, they can read a book. If they don't want to read a book, that's their decision. But what's nice about today, since the technology is still changing, is now you got these YouTube channels.
Right. And so everybody watches
and
that.
everybody, and for example, they did an article on me last year about the Ark. It was the Epic Times, and the newspaper article got distributed to 53 countries.
Wow.
On the book and the Ark. And I don't know how many languages that equals, but it's probably 20 to 30 different languages.
Right.
But just one little hour-long interview and newspaper article ends up in 53 countries.
Right. So again, Mackie, I want to keep pushing. What made you choose Noah? What got your attention on Noah?
So
there's a lot. There's a lot of prophets. There's a lot.
Yeah. So
why Noah? Because
So what I did in the beginning in 1999, I did a creation series.
Okay.
And the cassette, it was a cassette, and the series, the cassette package that we put together.
Right.
Yeah, that's that green one.
Which is this one
Yeah,
here.
it's part one. Each cassette, it has a package. It has 2 tapes in it. And I did a 4-part series.
Right.
And then I had this little book right here. And it had study notes in it, so you could go back and do little study notes.
Right.
I mean, we had a nice package.
Oh yeah.
It was a nice. But anyway, so on part 4, because this was 4 parts. On part 4, I did a little thing on Noah and Christ.
Okay.
Because Noah is a picture or type of Christ. So what I wanted to do when I did that series in 1999, I did a seminar at my church on creation. And the part 4 was a comparison of Noah and Christ, because obviously the creation got destroyed in the flood. And so I had a guy build a small model for me, a little 3-foot model of Noah's Ark, because I wanted that ark for the seminar. And then that turned into a 6-foot ark, and that turned into a 12-foot 6 ark,
Right.
and that turned into another ark. And then now we use the ark for churches,
Right.
for street fairs, for all kinds of things. And we take it out, and basically the ark is used to hand out gospel tracts. So we take the ark. For example, last year we went to Ocean City about 10 times. Set the ark up on the boardwalk, set our tables up, put out gospel tracts. The ark gets the people's attention, and then we hand out the gospel.
Right.
And so the point is, it's a way to take the people say that's not saved from a Bible event
Okay.
to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ.
Right. Right.
And the
ark.
the model is a good attraction. So it's a good ministry.
Right.
And everybody knows about Noah's Ark.
Oh yeah, because you have it on
every
children's
culture.
book.
Every culture.
I mean, it's everywhere. You
Yeah.
know, you always see it in little toys,
Yeah.
the little ark with the giraffe sticking out,
Yeah.
and all that. But with all that being said, Mackie, there's a message,
Yeah.
because Jesus talks about the end days would be like
The days of Noah.
So
days of Noah.
what does it mean by that?
So let me just guess one. Here's what Jose was talking about.
Right.
A little toy ark.
And there's books like that too.
And that's what people say. Oh, that's just a child story. Well, you know what? This is a child story, but that's not.
Right.
That's a real historical event.
Right.
So
that really happened.
So of all the issues, this is to go back to answer your question.
Before you answer my question, and you just said a child.
But by the way, let me mention one more thing. Jose's daughter gave me that.
Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda. and I still got it.
You know, Mackie, I always watch the History channels and all that. And there was one that caught my attention because you know how the science always wants to discredit the Bible.
Discredit, yeah.
And so I was looking at this one show that they were talking about when Moses went to Egypt in front of the Pharaoh and he turned the waters into blood. Mm-hmm. So the scientists were trying to say, well, we went into the caves, we went into the ground and did this and that, and we found out that the ground underneath had a lot of lead or a lot of minerals that washed away at that time and make the water turn the color that it did. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, they always try to discredit the flood of those days. Yeah. But Jesus made it clear that it will be like the day. So this is a real fact.
So one of the things that Jesus said is...
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and it's a good point. Mm-hmm. Jesus said, as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be.
Right.
It says they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, and knew not until the flood took them all away.
Right.
So Jesus believed in a global flood and a global destruction. And of all the events that happened in the Bible, that's recorded in the Bible, Jesus mentions the flood of Noah. Right. And what he's saying is to everybody, and he's saying it today, it's 2024. The world is in chaos right now.
Right.
Is that and some people will say, listening to your channel, it's always been in chaos. It's always been in chaos, but something's coming, and it's right around the corner. Right. So Jesus said that of all the things that happened in the Bible, he picks Noah. So there's a catastrophe coming. Mm-hmm. And only 8 people ended up on the ark. Only believers ended up on the ark. So one of the reasons we do what we do is because we're given the same message that Noah gave, and that's give your life to the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved. Because judgment is coming, whether you believe it or not, it's coming.
And this is what I want to finish with, Mackie, because I started talking about myself, how I came to Jesus. Just like in the New Testament, the woman with the issue of blood, Mackie, I want to say that I tried friends. Don't get me wrong, I love you guys. I tried so many things. I tried drugs, alcohol, events, whatever, you know. But I always tell people out there when I'm telling them about Jesus, there was always an emptiness in my heart.
In other words, it didn't get better, it got worse.
I never got better. I got worse. I just kept, I was like taking a pill just to numb the pain. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, my heart was always empty, Mackie. And this is why I'm making a big deal of this right now, because not everybody is going to lead you to the right path. Mm-hmm. And this is why I want to tell you guys that I thank the Lord that I met you, Mackie, that the Lord put you in my life, you know, so that I can come to him, because he's tried so many different ways, and I always try to go different ways, Mackie. And so I just want to say that if someone comes to you and tell you about Jesus, don't turn away. Listen to it, because that could be coming from the Lord, and it better be coming from the Lord, right? And I just want to say that I'm thankful that this is a new year, and I can't say no more than that, Mackie. I'm thankful that I met you. You've been like a father to me, and I want to say thank you so much with the bottom of my heart. And I guess I'll wrap it up with that. You know, I got nothing else, unless you want to say something.
So 2024, new year.
New year.
The year changes.
Right.
Maybe this will be the year your heart will be changed.
Amen to that. Thank you. Till the next time.